YouTube, and welcome to my new channel about all things trading cards and comic book collectibles. My name's Nick Leone, and I'm calling my channel Lion Collectibles. Thank you for joining. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about my background, and just a little bit about the channel. So I recently really started getting into the trading cards and the collectible game. Found myself being super fascinated and interested to learn about it, checking prices, buying some booster boxes and stuff like that, just really getting into it again, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that story. But big thing with starting a channel for YouTube was, one, I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. Always kind of been interested in it and whether or not I'd be good at it. But I started realizing as I was getting into this, I wanted somebody to talk to, and I don't really have I have a lot of friends, but I don't have friends that are into this kind of stuff. I got a brother-in-law who kind of likes it, but he's in Southern California. I'm in Northern California. So I just felt like I wanted a friend to kind of experience this stuff with and share stuff with. And that's how this channel was conceptualized. I thought, hey, maybe I'll make YouTube my friend, and anybody that wants to come along, we'll bust packs together. We'll do, and just learn about the industry together, as well as learn about YouTube and making videos and stuff like that. So that's how we got here today. My background with collectibles and trading cards: I'm born and raised in Southern California. Come from a really close family, a big family. I'm one of 5 kids, but really close family, really close to my father. And at a young age, my father introduced me to the Marvel universe, namely X-Men. Obviously I watched Spider-Man, Batman, I like Teenage Ninja Turtles as well, but really it was X-Men. I'm a huge Wolverine fan. I've always been, told I've been a hairy guy, and so I've always kind of identified with him. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he was super tough and one of the main characters, and I always loved him. But at a young age, my dad started taking me and my older brother, to a really, really big sports and collectible card trading show, Sons in Southern California. If you haven't been there, highly recommend that you go check it out. It's awesome. Probably the biggest sports card show in California, at least, but I have a ton of great memories there. Just aisles and aisles of booths, walking up and down with my dad. I mean, everything you can think of in the hobby: cards, comics, videos, all sports cards, all this stuff. It was just super cool. And at that time, I was really young. We were into the Marvel stuff. So I just have these memories of my dad, super adamant guy, it's where I get it from, telling me about the stories and the guys and just the different stuff. And we started collecting Marvel cards. So we started collecting early 90, 91, 92 Marvel sets. I don't have a ton of memory and being super interested in the collecting side of it at the time. I do remember breaking packs. I do remember putting them in sleeves. We made binders, which I can't wait to show you guys. I have some pretty cool stuff. But at the time, it was more about just fun. I was with my dad. I was with my older brother, who I always looked up to. Not so much about the collecting aspect of it, but great memories that I have at Sons and breaking those packs. As I got a little bit older, really got into Power Rangers. I'm in my mid-30s. I'm 34. Most people my age have some kind of an experience with Power Rangers. I love Tommy, the green and then white Ranger. I'm sure a lot of other people did as well, but I thought he was my guy at the time. And I loved Power Rangers. That was a big craze. But it really, in my opinion, paled in comparison to Pokemon. Late 90s, 1999, obviously. Pokemon hit the stage, and I was all about it. I was just so into it. Breaking packs, begging for packs for Christmas, my birthdays. Collecting was just huge. Here's my pride and joy from back in the day, which I'll kind of show you guys in another episode about my inventory. Obviously, it's beautifully decorated with every sticker I could find under the sun, but this was my pride and joy, man, and was an awesome thing that I loved showing off. We weren't really, at least my area or the kids that were around me, it wasn't really about playing Pokemon. It was more about collecting, how you organized your binder, what cards you had. That was really what it was all about. And so in looking at my old collection, I really loved, and I think I have a cool vintage base set and a lot of vintage cards, but They are not in the best condition, unfortunately. They're definitely handled. I was definitely pulling them out and showing people. But I think some of them are still in good shape, and we'll see what we do about that. But huge part of my life as a young kid, it was really what I would say is my entrance into being interested about collecting something. Just awesome, awesome type of collectible that I loved as a kid. Then I ended up kind of changing schools, going into like 6th grade, and I went to this new school, and I saw these kids playing a card game. And the card game had all kinds of really cool artwork on it. Knights, dragons, monsters, zombies, you name it. And I just remember thinking, man, this looks so different than the Pokemon stuff. And it was Magic the Gathering. And it's another one of these card games that I just fell in love with. Like, I've always been a competitive guy. I've always loved games. And I've played sports my whole life. So I fell in love with Magic the Gathering, deck building, competing against friends, 2-on-2, big battle games. Like, I just loved it. Same thing, any kind of birthday gifts, Christmas, I was asking for cards. Just had a lot of fun with that in my 6th and 7th grade years. So a lot of really fond memories and cool friends that I made playing Magic the Gathering. And then that was when I kind of took a big hiatus. Like, as I went into high school, I didn't have a ton of friends who were into that stuff. My life was really about sports, and that kind of continued into my college years and my early adult life. I never really lost like complete interest in it. I would say anytime I saw someone playing cards, anything about Pokemon, I always thought Warhammer, tabletop games, Warhammer 40K looked cool. But I just didn't have a group that was all about that. I just wasn't in that kind of group. So I always kind of watched it from afar. I thought it was cool, but had a lot of other things going on. So fast forward to now. So it's early 2022. My parents recently sold their home. When they sold their home, like I told you, I'm one of 5 kids. Their garage was full of a bunch of art boxes, right? So we start getting messages from my parents saying, "Hey, you guys gotta take this stuff. We all got our own homes now, and it was time for us to pick up all of our old belongings as a kid that they kept for us." Well, I had a trip with my parents. They came up north to see me. I live in the Sacramento area. My parents came up and they brought all my stuff. It was about 6 or 7 bins that they brought up for me graciously. And, a couple of it was like old sports, jackets and stuff like that, things from my sports. And then boom, I just opened up this bin that had my Pokemon cards, all my Pokemon cards, Magic cards, my decks. I have a box that's all kinds of plastic, like action figures that, man, I forgot how much I loved. Like, as I was picking those things up, I was having memories as a kid playing with them. Just really cool stuff. A bunch of comic books that me and my dad had collected that I forgot. It was something that we actually did collect quite a bit of. Just really, really cool. My dad also left me his collection of sports cards that I didn't really know he was as big of a collector, but he collected a lot of baseball and football cards when he was younger. So he left those for me. He said, "Hey man, I'm not going to do anything with these. Have fun with them, sell them, keep them, doesn't really matter to me." But it was just cool. It was like, wow, look at this cool set that my dad brought up for me. So that trip came and went. I was busy with work and things like that, and so those got packaged up and put up on a shelf, and I didn't look at them for a few months until about a month and a half ago. I was on Instagram. I get caught by Instagram ads all the time, but I was on Instagram and I saw an ad for Whatnot, the Whatnot app. And that really kind of like reignited my interest. I just saw what it was. Oh wow, people are tuning in and watching these breaks, and you can buy and get it delivered to you. Like, I was like, man, this is interesting how technology is kind of affecting this industry that I really don't know anything about. Maybe I do want to know something about it in this older age when I actually have a little bit of money that I can, invest in stuff. So that really got me started. And I'm like, man, I got this bin out here in my garage that I can open up and see what I got. So on a Friday, after a few big boy sodas, I decided, hey man, I'm going to go bust these out. So I'm pulling stuff in and out, checking values, zero experience with eBay and what's the difference between an auction and a buy now. And I didn't have a filter set for sold. Like I had this really fun night where I was just seeing a lot of big numbers for stuff that wasn't really realistic, but I had a blast, and it just got me interested in like, wow, what are these cards and what do I have? Of course, got brought down to earth a little bit in the preceding days as I kind of realized, how to properly use eBay, sold, and look for auctions and high number of bids, all that good stuff. Got brought down to earth. I thought I had a lot of valuable Magic stuff. Magic, a little bit different of a collectible and valuable game. I thought I had all kinds of cool old sets and legends, and none of that stuff really worked out. Pokemon cards, like I said, weren't in the best condition, but I have a pretty cool inventory and a cool starting inventory and some valuable stuff that I said I can't wait to share with you guys. So it just got me interested, and like I said, thought about starting the channel. So I love Pokemon. That's a huge nostalgia for me. I love their current product. I think their stuff is great. Hollows, reverse hollows, VMAX, all that stuff. I think it's super cool that the way they've changed. I have a big set of Marvel, and I've always loved Marvel, so that's become another interest of mine that I kind of forgot how much I had collected with my dad. I love NFL. For the sports stuff, not a huge baseball or basketball fan, and I am a huge UFC fan. So as I said, I played sports my whole life, big group of friends, we were all wrestlers. That plays right into MMA and mixed martial arts. So I've been watching mixed martial arts since I was like 16. I know a lot about it, I've watched a lot of it. So that's kind of really what I'm excited, probably the most to invest in and to learn about in the trading card world is the UFC line. I know that they are kind of a newer line newer market compared to football, baseball, that kind of stuff. So I like the idea of trying to learn a lot about it now, and then putting it to use with like watching actual sports, right? So I love that sports, values for cards and players goes up and down on how well they perform. Fighting does not have an off season, so it's constantly going. It's almost every weekend. So really excited about investing in fighters that I think will have big careers, and just watching their values as they grow. And that's really it. Like this channel, as I said, I am a complete noob. I don't know anything about video editing, none of that stuff. I'm hoping that that'll get better as time goes on. My wife's a photographer, so luckily I have a couple cool starting pieces of equipment, but want to get better at the YouTube thing and the video thing. Want to learn as much as I can about the industry. I really welcome any and all participation and communication from you guys, the viewers, whoever wants to follow me. Advice, best practices, ideas for new shows, like all of it. I welcome it all. Criticisms, I want that too. It's a huge part of learning. You see me doing something wrong or got a better idea of how I should do it, or there's a better way, would love to get that feedback and criticism. Obviously, want to keep it respectful, want to have a good time. But that's what I want this channel to be about. Next couple episodes, my ideas for the first couple episodes are my inventory. That'll be the second one. I'll show you everything I'm starting with. I want to do a first PSA submission. I really want to get a few cards slabbed and see what condition I think my best cards are in. So that'll be an episode that I want to run through with you guys. And then also, like I said, I have a little inventory of stuff that I've bought, and I got some Pokemon cards, I got some UFC cards I want to break on camera and start to build that muscle as well. So that's kind of the first ideas. I want to keep putting out content. I'm trying to think of ways. As I said, I'm a huge UFC fan. UFC's every weekend, so I'm thinking it might be cool, the day before, do a quick video that kind of talk about the fights, talk about what cards I have, their current values versus how they'll perform. So that's what you can expect with Lion Collectibles and me. Again, welcome everybody. Thank you for viewing, and let's have some fun. Looking forward to the ride with you.